Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are here to chat about some of the oldest makeup in my collection. Some of this stuff I still use, some of it I don't use. A couple items are honorable mentions because they're repurchases, but they are products that I tried many moons ago. I was inspired to film this video after watching a couple people film videos like this. I can't remember exactly who it is at the moment, so I will search it, and if I can find them, I will link it down below. But I just thought it would be fun to share some of my old makeup products with you. If you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Kelly, and I love all things makeup and beauty. I love talking, I love makeup, I love talking about makeup. So if you like to chat about makeup too, I would love to have you subscribe and be part of the K-Bella fam. But why don't we go ahead and jump into the video. Before we get started, if you're interested in this look here, I will have the makeup tagged down below, but you can also check my Instagram because I'm trying to get into reels. So I played around with some reels with this makeup look here. But let's start with some of the oldest makeup in my collection. I do have two very old eyeshadow palettes that I no longer use, but I'm keeping them in a drawer for like memento's sake. And when I'm thinking about old makeup, if I think about the evolution of my YouTube channel, okay, I started out with a beauty room. Then I had my daughter and I got kicked out of my beauty room and into our guest bedroom. Then when my daughter was 2, my mom moved in with us, and now I film in our bedroom, which is where all of my makeup is right now. So when I think back to some of the oldest makeup in my collection, I'm thinking of my beauty room days, and my daughter is now 4. So these two eyeshadow palettes are from the days when I had my own beauty room before I had my children. And the two eyeshadow palettes are both from Anastasia Beverly Hills. One is the Modern Renaissance palette, one is the Master palette by Mario. I was using my Modern Renaissance palette up until less than a year ago. I would still really only dip into tempera to set my eyeshadow primer and Vermeer for an inner corner highlight. It was still performing okay. I never had any reactions or anything. I feel like I could still use it if I wanted to, but I'm trying to replace it with newer makeup in my collection. So I have since put this in the memento's sake. And Anastasia Beverly Hills collaborated with Makeup by Mario before he had his own brand. And we got this eyeshadow palette here. I did hit pan on the 5th Avenue shade. I also hit pan on Marina. I don't know if you can tell right there. I feel like the ABH formula is honestly some of the easiest to hit pan on if you use it regularly because it's very soft. I really loved this Bronx shade right here. I honestly didn't reach into this palette as much as I should have. I did really enjoy it, but I got deeper looks than I typically go to for a day today. But this was such a coveted eyeshadow palette. Everybody was talking about this palette, and I feel like it went pretty quickly. Like they had it, and then maybe it was sold out, or maybe, I don't know, time was up, and there were people still talking about this palette after it had gone away. So for that reason, I'm keeping this in the archives. Another makeup item that I may have even had before my channel started. This could very well be from either the early days of my channel or before my channel started. If you caught my recent declutter video, then you know that I have had my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Blush Palette for a really long time. My best friend Smags got this for me. It was a gift. I feel like it might have even been before my YouTube days. I really loved this shade Mood Exposure right here, but I would often mix these two shades together or mix one of these with Mood Exposure to create a nice look all over, I was gonna say all over the lid, all over my cheeks. But I haven't reached into this lately. It sits in my drawer. I definitely feel like the quality has changed. The pigmentation is not quite as nice as it used to be. You can kind of see, if you look closely, the blush palette breaking up here. Powder products, you can get away with them for a while, but at some point they expire. This here says 12 months. Maybe 12 times 6. I mean, this has been around for a while. I will use powder products past their expiration, but this one is definitely very expired. Okay, let's talk about some very old makeup that I am still using. Speaking of Hourglass, I do have one of their bronzers. This is the Luminous Bronze Light. This is the mini. It has been in several of my project pans over the years. I don't remember quite how old this is. I know that Smags had a full size of this and used hers up because she's great at using her makeup. I bought the mini. I'm glad I bought the mini. I haven't used it in a while because honestly, I put it in several project pans thinking I would hit pan, and I kind of got tired of it. I need to pull it out again and see if it's something that's even worth keeping in my collection because it is so old. Another makeup item that we're digging back into the archives for, again, this may very well be before YouTube days, but remember when Becca collaborated with Jaclyn Hill and created Champagne Pop? Yep, I still have it. I no longer use Champagne Pop. I did hit pan on it. It was my only highlighter for the longest time, and honestly, I remember loving it. Like when it was at its prime, I loved it. I reached into it on a daily basis. It might have been my only highlighter at the time, but it's not something that I keep anymore. It sits in a drawer. It's just for the archives now. I honestly find I don't know really that I feel like the formula has changed. It's a 24-month shelf life. It's very much older than that. I don't know necessarily that I feel like the formula has changed, but like my preference in highlighter has changed. And honestly, Champagne Pop, it looked beautiful on my skin, but I like something a little bit like icier and lighter. I still do really enjoy the Becca formula. I think it's a great formula of highlighter, but it's just not quite as bright. Champagne Pop is not quite as bright as I would want my highlighter to be these days. I have a couple blushes that are before kids' days, and they are my Charlotte Tilbury blushes. This one is in the shade Pillow Talk. Smags got this for me as a gift. I love this blush formula. It's definitely a buildable formula, so you can go in heavy-handed and it's not going to be too heavy. If you go in lightly, you can start light and build it up. I like that you have the two tones. I just kind of swirl it together. Pillow Talk, I think, is it supposed to be a matte? I'm not sure if it's supposed to be a matte or not. I kind of feel like I see a little bit of a sheen in here, but it definitely leaves a sheen on my skin. This one, Nicole Guerrero raved about. I will put the name on the screen. This one is matte. Again, two-tone. I just mixed the two together. It does give me a nice look on the face. It's matte but not flat. Definitely, again, buildable formula. You can kind of go in with a more dense brush if you want more pigmentation, or a fluffy brush and swirl it around if you want a little bit of a lighter application. I find myself not reaching for this blush formula as much as I did when I first got it. I think it's a good formula. Am I gonna go out and purchase more? No, there are other formulas that I like more, but these are definitely still blushes that I use in my collection. I do have a highlighter palette that is from the Beauty Room days. It is a little trio by Ofra. This is the Feel in Myself highlighter trio. You do have Blissful, Pillow Talk, and Rodeo Drive. Everyone and their mother talked about Rodeo Drive. I hit pan in it. Everyone had Rodeo Drive. Pillow Talk, I think this trio came out when Pillow Talk was new, and so I was kind of torn between Pillow Talk and Rodeo Drive, so I went and purchased the trio. I was like, oh, I'm not gonna use Blissful, and I actually have so much. I used Blissful so much more than Pillow Talk. There is a little dip in here, but no pan yet. I really don't reach for this trio too much these days. I don't really have a reason why. I feel like I just don't think about it. I think it's still good. I don't know what the shelf life is. It's probably gonna say 12, 24 months, something like that. And I've definitely had this, I might have had this since 2018 because it says the lot number back here is 012618, and I'm almost wondering if that's the date maybe that this batch was made or sold or something like that. I love the Ofra highlighter formula. It's definitely going to give you a bam in your face highlight, and I would say I got my money's worth out of this little trio. Now, lip liners and lipsticks are something that I don't really play with. Once the formula goes bad or once I've had it for a while, I do get it out of my collection because it's more of a creamy formula, and that you don't want to put expired creams on your face or on your lips. But I have more Charlotte Tilbury. I do have two more Charlotte Tilbury products for the oldest makeup in my collection. One is this lip liner in Iconic Nude. It is currently in my project pan. I love this formula. I don't think, this is a 24-month shelf life. I don't think this is from the Beauty Room days. I think it's from the guest room days. So after I had my daughter, but before I moved into my bedroom as my beauty room. the Kim KW lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. This one honestly is probably expired. This one is an 18-month shelf life. I'm pretty sure Smags gifted this to me. I don't remember when. I do still wear it from time to time. It doesn't smell bad. It still has like a nice vanilla scent, so I'm gonna continue to wear it. It's a great nude shade. I have used quite a lot of it. We're pretty close to the lips there, but this is definitely the oldest lipstick in my collection that I still use. Now we're on to the 2 honorable mentions, and the reason why I'm calling them honorable mentions is because one is the liquid lipstick from Dose of Colors in the shade Stone. Everyone and their mother raved about Stone many, many moons ago, and I've actually had 2 other Stone lipsticks. I had a full size of Stone, used that several years ago. Then I had minis. I had a mini of Stone that I used for several years. This particular bottle of Stone I've purchased, is this a bottle? Tube of Stone I've purchased since my makeup has been in my bedroom. So it's definitely under 2 years old. This is the one that I would still use today. I don't think it's gone bad. It still smells okay, I think. It smells like what it normally would smell like. I don't reach for this shade very often because it is more of like a deeper purple shade, but I used the heck out of this lipstick. It is one of those like OG YouTube favorites, so I wanted to still talk about it in my collection because Dose of Colors Stone has been in my collection for so long, just not this specific tube. My second honorable mention is a foundation. Foundation is something that I do not play with. It has a shelf life of a year. I definitely have some that have been in my collection for longer than that. So I kind of exit it out of my collection when it starts to get funky. So I'm not really going to have a super old foundation in my collection. However, I did recently repurchase my Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk. I picked up the shade 4. Now the Luminous Silk I initially purchased right after my daughter was born. So she was born in 2019. So in 2019, I got rid of all of my foundations and I purchased the Luminous Silk, and that was the only foundation I had in my collection, the full size. I went through half of it before that then turned bad because my foundation collection kind of bumped up. I had more foundations. I wasn't using that one as much. I had to get rid of it, but I did want to repurchase it because this formulation is amazing. And definitely one of my favorite formulations. You get a nice luminous glow, skin-like, very, very beautiful, but you get more of a medium coverage. It just gives me a flawless look and I love it. So I did go ahead and repurchase this. So although this is not the original, it would be the oldest foundation in my collection if I had the original, because all of the other foundations have kind of made their way out, and I like to try new foundations, so I don't repurchase a lot. It definitely says something that I've repurchased that one. That is going to do it for this video, the oldest makeup in my collection. I thought this one would be a fun one to film. I would love to know in the comments down below, what are some of your old makeup products? Are you still maybe dipping into some expired makeup, or is there makeup that perhaps you're not using in your collection anymore but you still have them? I would love to know. Let me know if you have any of these. Like, were you a champagne pop kind of gal? Do you have any Charlotte Tilbury blushes? Was Kim KW your perfect nude? I would love to know in the comments down below. Otherwise, that's gonna do it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you are subscribed because I have some fun videos coming up. That's gonna do it for this one. Bye.